Somebody said the other day that when people act in a certain way or don't do something that you want them to do or that you think they should do, that starts a new trajectory for you. You will now jump on a new timeline based on somebody's actions or inaction when it comes to you. And the first thing I thought of was my divorce. I didn't want to get a divorce, and it actually wasn't me that wanted the divorce. It was sprung on me kind of without my knowledge that it was going to happen in a therapy appointment. And I remember I cried like a baby in the parking lot. I had no idea. I hadn't even for a minute thought about quitting. Now, looking back, hindsight is 2020. I could definitely see how it needed to end, and it was kind of dysfunctional in a lot of ways. But we were both just kind of trying to hang on because we had been trying for so long that it was like, in my mind, we weren't going to quit. We had already been through so much together that it was like, we're not going to quit. And so when he told me that he didn't want to keep working on it, I was blown out of like left field. Like I was not expecting it. And I even like for months after he initially told me, I would be like, why are you doing this? Like, why are we doing this? Right. And so the divorce went through, and I was just a single girl out here, like trying to survive and make the best of it. And I was like enjoying my time. Like, I'm not going to say I wasn't enjoying being single. There were a lot of amazing things about being free. And there was a huge sense of relief of like, I don't have to try with this relationship anymore. But every time I would think about my long marriage, I would feel like shame and like sadness. And I would feel like I failed. And what could I have done different? Because, I had 4 kids that were now having to go back and forth between mom and dad's house, and like they were learning truths about the marriage that were really hard for them to handle and take. And it was like really excruciating emotionally. And so I still had times where I was like, why did we even have to get a divorce? Like, could we have held on to it? Could we have like tried to make it work? But at that point, it was a moot point of even trying to think the what ifs, because he had wanted the divorce and there was nothing that I was going to say or do that was going to change the way that he felt. And so that was a timeline shift at that point. I was completely like, oh, I'm going to be married to this man for a long time. We've built like, this family together, and we've built kind of this empire financially, and we're doing really well. And like, this is just going to be my life. To now I was a single woman, divorced, and trying to like not even consider marriage. I was never going to get married again. I couldn't even conceive of that. But I was dating, and I met my husband, and on the very first date, we knew we were each other's person. And 9 months later, we were married. And now that I'm in this second marriage, I feel like I have completely timeline, like not even shifted, but like catapulted. I'm in another timeline now. And it was one I never considered for myself. But it is wonderful. And it's wonderful to have this second chance at love, and to have like a different kind of love that is a divine union. And I'm with my divine masculine, and I've leveled up so much in my personal like growth just from being in this relationship. And I've been able to accomplish so much just in my individual life because of my marriage. And it completely was on another timeline. Like I'm on another timeline. And unfortunately, like I had to lose a lot of the people that were on that other timeline. And people will tell you this all the time. Like when you have a divorce and you go through divorce, people will take sides, and like you'll lose friends. And I would always scoff at that and be like, why would I lose my friends when I get a divorce? But it's actually like totally true. And I think it's less about like those people and like their choices, and more about the fact that you're on a completely different timeline now. You can't take them with you. They're on the old timeline, you're on the new timeline. It's just honestly par for the course. And so his inaction in wanting to stay married to me, and his action in wanting to like terminate the marriage, it was like out of left field and not something I ever expected. But looking back now, I realize it was exactly what I needed to completely timeline catapult. And I would have been so happy on that timeline, being married for a long time, like being in a long marriage, like, you know, hustling for that marriage. But I didn't know what I didn't know at the time. And I can look back now and realize, like, I don't want to make comparisons because my kids are on this app, but just how much, like, how wonderful this new timeline is. And it feels really meant to be. It feels like it's what my soul needed for its progression.